Hello, all, and welcome to the news today of September 2nd. September 1st being Vinayak Chauthi was holiday, so September 2nd newspaper we are dealing with the issues of polity, governance, constitution that fall under the UPSC syllabus GS2 paper. So GS3 topics will be discussed separately. So coming to the GS2 topics, you can see over here the first article goes like these are all political issues, so not of much importance. So the first article is about, yeah, you can also make a note about Mary Roy. She is actually an activist, and a doyen means a personality of very great personality. So doyen means the most respected or prominent person in a particular field. That means a quite versatile and quite a luminary successful person who is very elite and quite respectable in that community or in the society, doing of women's rights. So she is Mary Roy. Mary Roy has recently passed away. So she is an activist about women's issues and an upholder and staunch supporter of women feminism, especially with respect to women's property rights, to have equal share in the family property. So next the article, not much, yes, over here, academia research on the glass ceiling in India. Basically glass ceiling is something that is an invisible barrier that restricts the progression of women towards the upper echelons of the industry. As we are all quite aware about the percentage of women judges, for example in the lower courts is 30%, which is better, quite better, okay, somewhat good enough. But coming to the high courts it is around 12%, and in supreme courts it is 11%. And you can see the decrease in the proportion of women that are being in the top positions in the field of lawyers. So there you can understand how glass ceiling is there, in the sense not only in terms of their career, but maybe due to the societal patriarchy mindset and their confinement to the parochial family responsibilities. As such, their world is restricted, that their career progression is not going beyond certain stages. And of course that not only is linked to their personality choice, but personal choices as such, but also depends on the society as a whole. And maybe that India is unable to provide opportunities, good enough opportunities for the women to get or reach the top positions. So that's apart from this legal field, we can also just the go through the STEM courses, the educational, right at the beginning of the education. There also you can find many women dropouts are more because of their attaining this mature age as such. And of course this article specifically deals about the STEM courses. So STEM full form, that is meant by technical education. So science, technology, engineering or mathematics. Regarding these courses, STEM, science, technology, engineering or mathematics, like BSc maths, MSc physics, some courses as such. So where are women enrolling in these courses? Why are they getting confined to this mean courses or of less opportunities, and why they are not unable to get pushed unlike men? Why they are not showing interest, or why are they or they are inherently not showing interest, or are we abstracting, the society is abstracting them to get into those positions or to go to reach for the higher educations in such fields? So what's the problem? The article completely deals about this issue. Anyhow, the article just begins with an instance wherein Kamala Sohonai Kamala Sohoni is a woman enthusiastic about physics research to be done under Sir C.V. Raman's guidance, has pursued him for support, but he in 1930s itself she was rejected the uh, she was rejected for getting enrolled in that course under the guidance of Sir C.V. Raman just for being a woman. And recently in and the European Nuclear Energy Organization, a senior most professor has commented that you see that physics is something that is built by men and it is not by invitation. That means actually he was about to say that it is quite impossible for women to get into the field of physics and they are not inherently capable of it. So he openly discriminated women in this 21st century also. Such discrimination, that too from quite more well educated professional people is something very not good for the society's progression. And in such a masculinity dominated society, women must have some incentives and guidance so that they can also get into the top positions on par with the men. And at higher education institutions you can see women reservation is present, but that is the apathy is that means the point of concern is that women reservation is only to showcase diversity in the course arena, but not as recognition of the women's strengths and capabilities. It's just to show off the diversity of strength in that arena. So true gender parity will be obtained only when the reforms are started from the grassroots levels of going against the patriarchal society, getting openness to change, and welcoming women into different streams and giving them opportunities right from the childhood onwards, like start with coaching especially for women to encourage them into to take part in the STEM courses. So government has launched different initiatives to bring change at the grassroots level itself, like it has started with the Gati, which means gender advancement for transforming institutions. It is a pilot project under Department of Science and Technology to promote gender equality in science courses. Similarly, in an initiative called Kiran, knowledge involvement in research advancement through nurturing. So this is an initiative to encourage women scientists, and as per UNESCO, India has the lowest female researchers in STEM courses. Like in research and development, it's quite low, that is around 14%, and even in Japan. And previously we had an article also regarding Japan, where there is this strong gender roles, like men are to be like bread earners and women must be confined to the domestic role as such. So even in Japan also, like similar to situation in India, the women researchers are quite low, which is around 16%. And of course the most highly developed economy, US, followed by China, Japan, Germany, UK, India, France, so all these countries are having very less women researchers in STEM fields. Research in the sense that involves a lot of tedious work and a very high educational qualification, which is made quite impossible for the women to grab on due to the societal pressures because of the patriarchal mindset, and their role is best being confined to the domestic course. So that needs to be addressed. So, and of course you can also observe that women CEOs in Fortune 500 companies is very less, which is about 15%. However, in corporate sector these days, the booming IT field, you can see more women labor force participation, which is above 39%, and this is something more than the global average. and this is possible in India due to the demand of workforce required and the opportunities being given for the women based on merit and competence, and not just for the sake of having the diversity in the corporate sector, but based on the skill set. So they are being encouraged and everyone is opting for such courses because opportunities are available widely in that course without any discrimination and mockery. Whereas in STEM courses, obviously women themselves feel diffident to step into the STEM courses, and neither they are not having any encouragement nor they can see any progressive career over there, because that is a huge career ladder that is to be clinched at tight, apart from handling the personal work life balance and family responsibilities in this patriarchal society. So that is quite impossible, and from the beginning itself women are showing apathy to join into such STEM courses. So need is to be taken care that women participation, which is 25% in labor force participation of women, which is around 25% today in India, is to be increased to about 60% by 2047, and government is taking progressive steps towards it under various schemes like Gati, Kiran, and of course basically the whole root of this system falls with the health capacity of the woman. So the article completely discusses about these topics, and of course these are GS3 topics. And can civil servants express their views on law governance? As you are all aware about fundamental rights, article 19, it is there available for every citizen of India. Being a citizen of India, that's enough for you to grab on that city fundamental rights. Of course there are some rights which are available only to the citizens but not to the foreigners. So those are like fundamental rights available only to the citizens and not to foreigners. Fundamental rights only to citizens. Fundamental rights only to citizens. I think because of the recording session maybe it's not taking, but let me just give over here. Fundamental rights only to citizens. As you can see over here, 15, 16, 29, 30, these are available only to the citizens of India. So yes, being a citizen of India, you are provided with fundamental rights. Fundamental rights available only to citizens of India, 15, 16, 19, 29, 30. So just for being, and you must be a citizen of India, no other alien or any other foreigner didn't have such a freedom of speech and expression, or right to movement, the right to reside, assembly without arms as such. So all these fundamental rights like 15, 16, 19, 29, 30, 15, 16, 19, 29, 30, 15, 16, 19, 29, 16, 19 in reverse, 19 plus 10, 29, 15 double 30. So 15, 16 reverse, 19, 19, 29, 30. So these fundamental rights 15, 16, 19, 29, 30, these 5 fundamental rights are available only to the citizens. So yes, being a citizen of India, you can just open your mouth and talk freely, but there are some reasonable restrictions, like on the grounds of national integrity as such. Integrity in the sense showcasing your highest morality, honesty in face of adversity. So that's of integrity. So yes, in case of any national calamity or during some inadvertently, sometimes our fundamental rights may get curtailed just for the citizens. However, there are some restrictions, especially to the military personnel, cops, and civil servants and the government employees, because they represent the face of the government. Usually, their freedom of speech is restricted and they shouldn't criticize the government. However, that is also a selective restriction wherein they can go pro-government, and such comments and such expressive thoughts are not restricted. However, if they are against the government, such views are not to be said openly. So here Smita Sabharwal had commented against the release of those 11 offenders who have committed rape and heinous murder of 20 to 30 people during the Godhra riots in 2002 Gujarat, but they were soon released by the state government recently of Gujarat due to the prisons that the subject falls under the state list, so they were released. Apart from without any of the ambit of that president pardoning powers or governor pardoning powers under Article 70 to 161 as such. So this is a very atrocious, heinous crime committed by those 11 people, and yet they were released. So there is no justice even after 75 years of independence. We can't, the victim didn't feel safe enough, and the victim is not satisfied by the conduct of the government in such a case. So Smita Sabharwal had commented against that, but her comments her comments grabbed the attention because she, being a civil servant or face of the government, shouldn't be criticizing the government. However, that falls under Article 19. So but this is not wrong as such, because Article 19 freedom of speech and expression is there, it has reasonable restrictions. However, Article 13 is about judicial review. No law is to be made that contravenes or abridges any of the fundamental right. So conduct rules of Central Civil Service Officers, conduct rules 1964-68 has set of rules as per which they shouldn't be criticizing the government. So these rules don't fall under any law, so these rules are valid. And Article 13 doesn't consider these rules as within the meaning of Article 13 like law. Article 13 only talks about that no law shouldn't be made, or it shouldn't abridge, that it shouldn't abridge the fundamental rights. It talks about the law, so fundamental rights shouldn't be abridged by any law. Even law may also is meant by the constituent power under Article 368, that is upon Amendment Act. So even Amendment Act is also a law under the meaning of Article 13. So such laws protect your fundamental rights, but here it is about the Central Services Conduct Rule, so it is basically a rule, not a law. So yes, this doesn't fall under any misuse of her fundamental right as such. So what she told is valid point, because it's about rules, not law. So that was a small article, and it suggests, and you can see, yeah, this is about why Supreme Court relaxed the ban on iron ore mining in Karnataka. Even this article falls under GS3. Even environment ecology articles are also involved in this today's newspaper. We will be discussing them. And international relations, Modi, Xi Jinping, yes, Vostok 22 Vostok 22 is a exercise that is conducted by different countries, like the countries of member countries of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, member countries of Collective Security Treaty Organization, member countries of Central Asian 5 countries, India, China, Russia. So this move by India to take part in the Vostok 2022 exercise, wherein they share the knowledge of field training and share the firepower, armory, etc. This has irked US government, because basically US wanted to side with India against or to counter this Chinese expansionism, and they have initiated this quad wherein US, India, Japan, Australia being the members, but India had to take part in Vostok because it too had some diplomatic ties maintaining with Russia. So yes, we can't criticize either of them. Anyhow, the move by India to participate along with China, Russia in the Vostok 2022 is yet to be seen. So INS Vikramaditya, that article is there, we'll be sharing it in the shorts. And okay, fine, these are all the GS2 articles in today's newspaper, and the rest all fall under GS3, which we shall be looking it in the separate video. So thank you.